So we're just going to do a quick presentation on note-taking. So hopefully there might be some strategies and tips that you would find helpful on note-taking that you can use going forward. So today we're going to be looking at how to take notes in lectures, reading to take notes, note-taking methods, and then just briefly mention some assistive technology. Why take notes? You take notes to identify key facts. It provides a permanent record for revision. It aids in the comprehension and retention of learning the information. It helps you to restructure the information, which is really important for rewording for essays and so on. So not saying it in the same way that you're reading it or that the lecturer has said it. So it allows you to interpret it, condense and organise what you were learning, and provides repetition, which is really helpful again for learning what you are taking notes on. Perfect. So note-taking strategies then. So to become a skillful and efficient note-taker, this is a complex process, so it does take time. So don't put too much pressure on yourself from the start. It can begin with theoretical knowledge like other skills. After that, then it requires some guidance and practice. So there are two types of note-taking strategies. Listening note-taking strategies, so taking notes during a lecture, and then reading note-taking strategies, so taking notes directly from a written source. Hopefully now this will move on. Here we go. So note-taking in lectures then. So some students record lectures or share their notes with peers. Initially, this might seem like a really good idea. However, it actually undervalues the importance of note-taking as a learning process. So taking in the information and writing it down yourself is really helpful, or typing it, whichever way you prefer. And taking notes is a skill, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So it's really important to not spend hours writing out notes, particularly when we are still using online lectures. It's easy to keep hitting pause or to spend, half an hour after the lecture or an hour writing down your notes. But just remember, when you are in a lecture, when you're listening to the lecture, that's when you get to take down those notes. So it's not a good use of time to take down every single word from the lecture slides. If the lecturer has the slides there, to back up the information, put down the important facts that they're given, the additional information that they're providing. So students must have a clear purpose when you're using listening strategies. So be able to recognise the main ideas, be selective, so write only what is relevant. Do you have exams? So then look at your exam papers to guide you on the topics that you need to focus on. So that's really important. In our exam webinar, we'll be exploring that a little bit more. Let me see. So lecture tips then. So before a lecture, revise the notes from the previous lecture or tutorial. Pre-read about the topic. Rule up pages according to your note-taking system. So we'll be going through some of them towards the end. Each person has their own preference. And have a positive attitude. So this will allow you to be more open-minded, and you can get the most out of the information that's been presented. So go in looking to have a goal in mind when you're doing your notes, and be a little bit more positive about it. If you're thinking that, oh, I'll get some good information out of it, you're going to pick up information a little bit easier. So during the lecture, then write down the title of the lecture, the name of the course and the date. If it's lecture 2 or 10, whatever it is. Listen carefully to the introduction, as this will guide you as to what the most important topics are and where you might need to take your notes. Make a conscious effort to pay attention. And it's easy to get distracted, so when that happens, just find something that helps you just to refocus back in on the lecture. Be brief in your note taking, so summarize in your own words, and take down the main key points. So remember, your goal is to understand what the lecturer is saying, not to record everything that they say. Use symbols and abbreviations, and if you do that, we would suggest using like an abbreviation guide. So just to remember what your abbreviations are, because it's easy when you're going back to study and you might not remember what the abbreviation is. And then look for visual cues. So if there's graphs or pictures or anything like that, that can help. So after the lecture, revise the notes within 24 hours. This helps you kind of retain more information. Fill in important details or blank spaces that you may have left. highlight key points. So we are big fans of colour coding in Student Central. So have as many colours as you need, and then keep all notes for each subject in a separate notebook, or transfer them into a folder and have separate uh, folder dividers between the topics. And then write a short summary of the lecture, one paragraph in your own words, and this allows you to kind of understand it and retain it a little bit better. So reading to take notes, and this is one example of how you could lay out your notes. So name of the reading, the author's name, year and place of publication, and then if it's a journal, put down, for anybody who would be using journals for referencing, put down this information because it'll make it a lot easier when you go back to do your essays. Page numbers read, and then other information that you might know. So if there's additional authors or I can't think now, it would depend on your reference and style. And then skim the text and complete the following tasks. So in your own words, briefly describe the main point or argument the author of the reading is trying to make, and then list three minor arguments that the author uses to support their main argument. And then step 3 is to read the text more comprehensively and find quotes or ideas from the text that can support each argument and the points that you've listed in step 2. So then methods of note taking. So there's the 4 main ones: the 5 R's, the Cornan method, mind maps, and the outlining method. So the 5 R's then, just going to move this. So record any information given during the lecture. This is record, which you believe will be important. Indicate sub-ideas and supporting details with numbers or letters under the main idea. Reduce your information. When you reduce your information, you're summarizing and listing keywords or phrases in the recall column. Recite, so cover the notes you took for your class. Test yourself in the words in the recall section and use questions, keywords, phrases to help you recite any of the facts aloud. Then uncover your notes and verify what you've said. You'll then move on to reflecting, so reflect on the information you received during class and determine how your ideas fit with this information. And review. So review your notes regularly and you will retain more information, which will help you for exams and reduce the need for cramming. So the Cornell note-taking method even. So this would be just a general layout. So put your date up here, your subject, your topic. We'll be showing you now what will go into each of these sections. So here you'll put your recall column, so your key phrases, questions, main ideas. This is where you'll put your notes to reflect this, and then you'll put your summary down along here. So as you'll see here, this has the water affects weight, and then this is the note that corresponds with it, so importance of water in controlling weight. So these are some other key facts, and then the summary. This lecture includes how water affects weight. So that's a nice simple example, but you could use this for any of your topics. So this can be used in any lecture situation. You could use it when you're studying as well, if you're taking from recorded lecture or if you're just going through lecture slides. And I'm sure you could make it work as well for a reading. The advantages then, it provides an organised and systematic means for recording and reviewing your notes. So if you keep it to a page or two, then you can staple them together and keep them closer than you have a page per topic. Easy format for pulling out major concepts and ideas, simple and efficient, and saves time and effort. And it is a do it right in the first place method. And there's no disadvantages to using this method. The second then is mind mapping, and this again is something that in Student Central we are big fans of. So this example would use a subject in the middle. You put your 3 topics, or each topic for the lecture along the sides, then your notes, ideas, and keywords, and then you can put a connection between the 2 topics if there is one. And it's nice as it's it's a graphic representation of the content, and it's really helpful for visual learners. Each person has a different way of doing it. My own mind mapping would be like a little cloud for each introduction, paragraph 1, 2, and 3, and then the topics coming off it. But everyone has their own preference. So the main thing is using these examples to make it work for your own study style. So mind mapping then, when to use it: when lecture content is well organised, and it's really helpful for breaking down essays if you're trying to learn essays for exams and so on, or not even essays, but like that type of essay writing. Often effective with guest lecture and have no idea how the lecture will be presented. Effective if you are a visual learner. The advantage then it helps keep track of a visual track of the lecture. Relationships between the topics are easy to see because you can connect them up and can cover lines for memory review, which is something that we would do as well. It's covered over, try say it or try write it out. The disadvantages is that you might not hear changes in the content from major points to facts and can sometimes be visually overwhelming. So you might want to do your initial mind map and then condense it down. And there is a mind mapping technology. Nicole, you might remember the name of the assistive tech.
I can't think off the top of my head, but we could send it around maybe in the link. There's
Yeah.
a link on the assistive technology website that names it.
Yeah.
I can't think right now.
I can't think myself. I have inspiration in my head, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. But yeah, like Nicole said, we can send it around and
Could be that.
I'm not sure now. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, we'll include it anyway with the email. Okay, so the next one then, the outline method. So again, this is just an example. Your major topic up here, your subtopic, and then the thoughts and supporting facts would be bullet pointed. So this is one I think a lot of people would use in lectures.
Oh yeah, it's called Inspiration 10.
Inspiration 10. Perfect. Thank you very much, Nicole. So I think that's available on the website as well, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. It's free.
Okay, perfect. And if you have any questions, then you're more than welcome to get in contact. So the outlining method, so when to use, when the lecture is organised and it's in the sequence, there is enough time in the lecture to think about and make organised decisions. So wanting to put it in order. The advantages then, it's a well organised system if it's done correctly. It reduces the need to edit and it's easy to turn main points into questions. The disadvantages, however, is that it requires more thought in class for accurate organisation. It may not show relationships by sequence when needed. It doesn't lend itself to a variety of review and question, and can be very difficult if the lecturer speaks fast. So top tips then. So have a clear purpose when you are writing notes. Do not take everything down from your lecture notes and write down the key points and be organised. There is several assistive technologies that may be useful. So like we mentioned, it's, I'm forgetting again, Inspire 10?
Inspiration 10.
Inspiration 10. There is things like assistive technology and Glean, LiveScribe Pen, and then for reviewing your notes, there's things like Read and Write. So if you have any questions about assistive technology, you're welcome to get in contact, but it is available up on the website. Perfect. Well, thanks very much for listening, and if you have any questions, we'll be doing more webinars in the coming weeks.